Hello everybody and welcome to this second stream, this bonus stream I'm doing tonight. There's been a lot of games that I wanted to talk about, but this one here, Brigandine, I kind of discovered this out of nowhere, I guess, this week. I knew it was coming, but I wasn't particularly following it, simply because I hadn't played the original, so I didn't really know what I was looking at when I saw the screenshots and whatever. But I gave it a go and found that I really loved it. And yeah, I want to share it because I think that it deserves a lot more, I guess, conversations and attention than it's getting. It did release in the middle of quite a busy period of game releases, but it definitely deserves your time. I've got a review up on digitallydownloaded.net, and have a read of that, and I've given it 4.5 out of 5 because I think it's particularly good. But yeah, we'll give people a moment or two to jump on and see if they want to see what this game's like. I know it's quite late here in Australia, compared to a lot of the other streams that I do, but maybe one or two people will jump on, and we'll talk about Brigandine. Diddy Ram's on. Hello, Diddy. Good to see you again. This one is definitely a video game. It's a strategy game thing. It's a tactics strategy game, but it does actually have quite a strong focus on the narrative stuff as well, and it's got a gorgeous art style. So this is different. This is very different. But it's quite nice. It's very I guess European fantasy by way of Japanese artists. So it's that kind of European style swords and sorcery stuff, but with the distinctive Japanese art style behind it. The artist that was on this game, as far as the character portraits and whatever go, is the same artist that worked on Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. So they're very well known and very well liked. How easy is it to cheat? Not very easy at all. I am playing in easy mode here, so what I've done is I've actually jumped in. This is about 1.5 hours into the game. There is a huge, lengthy introduction and cutscene at the start of the campaign, which doesn't make for particularly compelling footage when people just want to see the strategy stuff. But once you get into it, then it becomes a bit more balanced between strategy and narrative stuff. There will be narrative bits and pieces that pop up as we play tonight, but hopefully you'll actually get a chance to see the strategy side of things as well. So, before I get going, I've decided to... no, there's no H scenes in this, unfortunately. This is my side. I'm the red flags here. So there are 6 factions in Brigandine. There's the red flags, there's the pirates, which are the yellow flags here. Of course, they're on the islands. There is purple. There is grey. Very grey people indeed. Colour matches the personality. The green here. And finally, the blue up here. So each faction starts with the same number of territories, as far as I can remember. But obviously you want to be conquering them as you play along. In this playthrough, I have already captured 2 cities to start with. So I'm already on to a good start. I'm on to a roll of sorts. And my goal is to continue to build from here. Wow, it's a map of Skyrim. Yeah, I did say it was European fantasy by way of Japanese artists. So you'll see the Japanese side of things soon enough. So basically, it's actually quite a simple game to play in terms of the mechanics. There's plenty of strategy, but to learn the game, it's quite simple. There is this total CP, this rating on the top of each of the castles, is the strength of the units that are in that castle. And that gives you an idea of just basically how strong your side is compared to those around you. So if I was to select this city, for example, and then move to troops, it'll load up. And there are my units that I have in that city. So, as you can see, it's pretty powerful, actually. And I can actually move a couple of these here. These are on standby, and there's a magic pool rating with each unit, with a number that says left at the side there. So you can summon up to their total number. So if I was to select this unit here, which is a cost of 75, and I was to move them down to him, he's got 5 left, but he's got that unit in there. So those are the units that characters will take into battle. And on top of that, they level up as they get experience. So in the last battle that they fought, the dancer girl here got an experience level, and she's up to level 10, and now she can actually upgrade to a more powerful type of character. So these are all the various skill trees for all the character classes. This stuff is all very familiar for people who have played tactics RPGs in the past. But the base character is Dancer. Rogue is the next level up, so I will do that, which gives her a big stat boost. Even if it just changes the colour of her costume. But the in-battle graphics are not particularly spectacular, but the portraits, as you can see there, are really quite impressive, and in the cutscenes you get to see the full body portraits, and that's really impressive stuff. So, I've just powered her up, and now that group is as powerful as can be. And the total power of that city is 11,330, which is much higher than pretty much all the others around. Yes, they all evolve. Girls, guys, monsters, they all do. Every single one of them. Now, you can only move between, when you attack, which we'll get into in a second, you can only follow the roads. You can't cross mountains and whatever. So, what's interesting is, down here, this one has absolutely no units in there, but I can move units from there, and nothing can attack me back, so I will be doing that. This one is a little bit closer. 9,400 CP versus 8,500. That's a pretty close battle if I was to engage in battle there. If I jump in... So no... Yes, unfortunately no Hannibal stunts over the mountains, unfortunately. You can't do that. That's pretty much as powerful as I can recruit at this stage. As you can see, they're not very high level units there either. So they can't summon too many powerful monsters into the battle. So I won't be using them just yet. What I can do is I can send them on quests, which will help to level them up. I'll send them to the training grounds. So I won't be able to use them for battle this turn, this cycle, but they'll all get experience points. Alright, and then the one other place where I've got troops at the moment is over this side, where I've got a pretty powerful number of troops, 15,900 points worth. And as you'll see, we're talking about some really powerful characters here. That's actually the general, the leader of my entire faction. So she's based over there. I can actually class up one of the characters here. Which one's that? One of the monsters can class up. So the mermaid can become a siren, which is a pretty big stat increase, as you can see there on the right hand side. Let's do that. Just changes the colour, but now much more powerful fighter. Now unfortunately in doing so I've actually gone over my pool for that character, so I'm going to have to move things around, which is fine. If I take him, oops. You've got to play a lot of juggling in this game. You've got to do a lot of preparation. So if I move him over to here, there we go. Now they're all in balance again. But I'm not going to... I'm going to do some leveling up here as well, just so they can get some experience going. Leanne and Kane. And after all of that, I'm just going to end the phase. So there's 2 phases in this game. Yes, she is a cute leader. She's a dancer as well, which is great. The story... Yeah, so the story is actually quite good. Like I said, it's a very long cutscene to get into it, but basically the entire continent that you saw there explodes into warfare all at once, with all 6 factions deciding to get at each other's throats. And you can choose which faction you want to play as, and their story is completely different. depending on the motivations, the characters that are in the faction, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a good reason to play this game through 6 times. Each time you get a couple of hours, a dozen hours worth of questing. It takes quite a long time to complete the conquest. So yeah, it's a pretty extended game. And if you're talking about a broad kind of meta-narrative experience, then it does look, I guess, at the different perspectives on war and what motivates nations to do what they do in those kinds of circumstances. So it's interesting. It's certainly not something that I think people would expect going into this, because if you look at the screenshots and whatever, it looks like a standard tactics game. There's a lot more to it than that, and it's quite interesting. So there are 2 phases, as I said. The organization phase, which is where you summon units, you move your troops around your nation and prepare for battle. And then you enter the attack phase, which is where all the interesting stuff happens. So it's like that Fire Emblem game where you choose your faction a little bit, but much more complex than that. Fire Emblem's quite light and cheerful, all things said and done, even though it does delve into some pretty serious topics. This one is a lot more serious in tone. So yeah, it's like Fire Emblem, but with a more serious edge. We'll move into the attack phase. Nobody should have. So, in the attack phase, oops, now I can direct my troops to go into combat. And as you can see, of course, units move around. And your opponent takes their turns as well. And I've just realised I made a pretty bad mistake here, because I've gone and left this place quite undefended while my units are off getting their experience going. But should be alright. I'll take the risk. So they've moved. They had nothing in that fortress beforehand. Now they've got 8,300 CP worth of units, which is not bad. They've mustered a pretty decent force, but I've got a bigger one here. So what I do is just that. Yes, Switch exclusive. But you never know, it might come to PC later on down the track anyway. Wouldn't be the first game. So attack, I pick my units. So you can have up to 3 in an attack party. Confirm that. And I should be able to get on top there, because I've got about 3,000 CP above. So here we go. And we get the nice little red line that shows that an attack is going on. Now, I'm going to leave that one there because they're surrounded on all sides by enemies. They should be fine because they're pretty powerful in themselves. We're at 13,000, that should be right there. And over this side, as you can see, my opponents have built their strength up, but not enough to really worry me, so I should be okay. So let's get into the exciting bits. Let's do the attack. Invasion. So Guimul, I don't know how to pronounce her name. She's on my side, I don't know how to pronounce it. That's not her name anyway, that's her character type. And then against a dancer looking character actually. So let's see how we go. Once you're in battle, you get to enjoy tactics action, which is great. So I'll bring all 3 units into the battle. As you can see, it's quite a simple kind of looking battle map. I haven't played Suikoden Detective, sorry to say. See, I told you the portraits of this in this game are great. Really lovely portraits. Great character art. Not sure about the name, Emma. That doesn't exactly strike me as a particularly compelling name. I'll say I would not have. I don't watch too much TV, so I have absolutely no idea. All right, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, using the yo-yo to get to your opponents. So in combat, units move. So basically, I'm just thirsty for. I just love the character art. It's not the only reason I like this game. It's actually quite interesting, deep. The tactics are good and all that stuff. So it's not the only reason, but it certainly helps that the character portraits are nice. In the tactics section, each of the units move by the speed of their commander. So I've got the fastest commander on the battlefield, so I get to go first. And I can move all of my units. So some units are particularly useful in terms of their melee abilities. Some have ranged attacks. Others are magic users. It's all very standard kind of fantasy mix. The imps, which are there, I've got 3 imps in that unit, for example. They're all little magic users. I've got a couple of melee frontline fighters in the lizard man and the bird thing, and then I've also got a unicorn, which is a healer. So it's a pretty well balanced unit. Now in combat, you want to try and defeat the commanders if you can, because if you defeat the commander, all the monsters that follow them into battle also go away, so you can get a huge advantage over the battle. But of course, the AI the AI tries to protect the monsters, and you obviously want to protect... Sorry, the AI tries to protect their leaders, and you obviously want to as well, as far as possible. There is actually quite a few units in this game. There's 100 different leaders, commanders, and then 50 different types of monsters that you can summon. So the tactical variety is really strong, as well as there's plenty of different combinations that you can make as well, which is pretty cool. So there's my thief, and he's got a dragon, which is a very strong, powerful unit. Also a rock, which is the bird things, and the muscle in the bronze golem. A bit slow, but very effective once they're into battle. So the one basic weakness for this game, if you to highlight a weakness in it, it's that these tactics battles can actually drag on for quite a while in terms of a length of time to play them. This is not a game that you should be playing if you are time poor. It does take quite a lot of focus to get the most out of, and you can't play it in short bursts really. So that is certainly a downside, but the quality is there. So I'm just moving my units up at the moment, just preparing for the enemy to come at me. Naturally, I'm keeping my units as close together to one another as possible, because that way I'm able to swamp the enemy when they come. No, there's no self-inserts in this one. There is definitely no self-inserts this time around, so you'll be very happy to know that. No, there's no self-inserts in this one. There is definitely no self-inserts this time around, so you'll be very happy to know that. Okay, so let's move a little imp here. Otherwise, we'll just hold. I do want the enemy to attack me first. I want them to come over that. Here they come. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Took a screenshot. There we go. Now we're going to get attacked. Alright, so that there is actually the commander. So they've gone quite they've been brave, let's put it that way. They've been brave in actually using the commander to attack. Now there are some things you can do to help to improve your own battle odds. One of them is flanking the opponent, of course. And as you can see, there's all kinds of accuracy, critical hit, all those kinds of things also play a role as well. That's not going to end too well for me. As you can see, my dragon's going to lose a lot of health and not do too much back to Emma as a result. So what I might do instead is focus the attack over there, where I can hit the Archangel quite heavily and not take too much in return. And you got an experience level, which is a nice bonus. Maybe not such a good idea to do that. Might just hold him in reserve, or hold the rock in reserve right now. Maybe not such a good idea to do that. Might just hold him in reserve, or hold the rock in reserve right now. So that spell that they cast on the enemy general was a pretty powerful one. It's made them very hard to actually hurt, and they do a lot of damage in return. Let's not do that. Let's just hold him in reserve for now as well. But the bronze golem will do some good damage here, I hope. Golem punch. Yeah, that's not too bad. It doesn't take too much damage because it's a golem. And I missed. Of course I missed. 84% chance of hitting, and of course I missed. I have the worst luck with those things, with the random number generators. Always. It's the same with XCOM. Whenever I play XCOM, if I have a 80+% chance to hit, I'm almost guaranteed to actually miss. So it gets annoying. Okay, so we've got a new turn. Let's try using some of the Imp's magic, because he's pretty handy about that. So, by using silence, none of the enemies in there will be able to use their magic. Or just that one. And I've missed there too. Bloody hell. Not having good luck right now, am I? Not. There we go, that's what I need. Spell break. If I cast that on Emma there. Now, she's quite vulnerable. The little imps are cute. They're very cute indeed. Okay, so let's move here. So you can't move and cast magic. That's one of the strategic considerations you need to make. So you can't move and cast magic. That's one of the strategic considerations you need to make. And as I said, the unicorn is a healer, so I make use of that. I don't believe so, unfortunately. So I took a bit of a hit there, that's for sure. That Holy Word ability is particularly powerful. It hits everything in range, which is terrible. It's very painful to deal with. But now I can attack back. Let's we've got to keep going for the commanders here if we can. Unfortunately, I can't reach the commander with that magic ability. Okay, let's cast Venom on that guy instead. Hopefully poison him. Nope, not this time. Stand by. Bronze Golem here. Stand by. Now the mermaid actually benefits from fighting in the water, of course, as you would expect. And I definitely need to heal the lizard man there. Okay. So now I've got an acid breath ability, which is nice. Can hit all the enemies in a single line here. Which I'm going to do. And finally, we will move the rock over here. To do almost nothing there. So let's not do that. What will he do? What will he do? Might just stand by there. So as things are turning out, this battle is not going my way at all. Especially when they got a healer as well. Oh, finally, they missed an attack. Aren't I lucky? A minor one, unfortunately. But that's alright. We'll keep plugging along and see how we go here. So, magic. Nope. What I will do first up is use the unicorn to try and heal somebody that's nearby. Who can I heal? Who needs it the most? The Iron Golem. So we'll do that. Protect. Oh, I'd already used it on him. That's the problem there. That was some stupid waste of a turn. That's alright. Continue to protect units as I can. Let's protect that one. And let's see if we can save the dragon by protecting him. Yay, a critical hit. That was nice bonus. Yay, a critical hit. I fast forwarded that by accident, sorry about that. Okay. Oh, dearie. I lost one of my units then. Tell you what, that leader's particularly tough. Proving to be very difficult. Who do I heal? Who do I heal? Who's best? Probably actually best to heal that one. I think the lizard man's dead. He's nearly dead. So let's focus on what I can preserve as much as possible. Well, at least I defeated one of their units, thank goodness. Which led to a big stat boost for that character, which is great. I guess he just stands there for now. Well, that could be useful. Let's see if we can work the charm. So as you can see, actually, there's an awful lot of different abilities that various characters and units have, which really does add to the depth and strategy of the game. That is for certain. Oh, excellent. A critical hit. Just what I needed. and get one back. But at least I'm actually slowly whittling down that leader's health. Thank God for that. Okay, so I think I am just starting. Yeah, yes. What, not the imp? The imp's pretty cute too. All of the characters actually, all the generals do participate in the story. I can't remember just how much she has in the story, but they all do participate. So, in a way, yes. Is the long and short of what you're asking there. So I'm going to lose the Lizard Man, but I really do need to try and take down some of these generals now sooner rather than later. So let's just accept that I'm going to lose my Lizard Man. Oh, excellent. Critical hit. Unicorn's out of magical power, so the unicorn is now going to fight in the melee. There goes my dragon. Unfortunately, I'm losing everything yet. Certainly going after the poor little unicorn. Not yet at the moment. There's no romance yet, to answer your question. If I can just clear off this boss. Not yet at the moment. There's no romance yet, to answer your question. If I can just clear off this boss. Because I've still got some... all of my generals are still there. And while one of them's pretty hurt, the others are in pretty good spot. So if I can... Yes, I'm going to defeat this boss. There we go. Finally. So by clearing her away, as lovely as her costume is, she had to go. Oh, I can turn him into a man-eater now. Okay. That's one down. Now I need to deal with the other generals, which is that guy and her. She's currently charmed, which is bonus. I'm sorry, but I had to do what I had to do. I make no apologies. I'm sorry, but I had to do what I had to do. I make no apologies. Okay, things are starting to look up a little bit now, which is a relief. Okay, things are starting to look up a little bit now, which is a relief. So Hugh's got to level up. Good, good. I guess now the other thing is I want to preserve as many of those heroes as the monsters as I possibly can, because yeah, if they all die, then I have to start building their experience levels back up again, which I don't want to have to do, obviously. But Rose is level 13, so she is so much more powerful than anything else now on the battlefield, I believe. And she's got some pretty powerful abilities to go yet. So Airy Rush, that'll do a huge amount of damage to Alan. Take that, Alan. There we go. Take a big chunk of his health off in one go. Now, the little imps unfortunately aren't exactly useful combatants, but right now I'm just throwing everything in that I can, because I also need to try and protect my leaders. One of them's pretty injured at this stage, so okay, Diana. Diana hasn't got much left in terms of magic, so I could throw her into the combat, but she's not really built for that, unfortunately. What I will do is I'll move the plant up. We are getting there. So that'll kill the mermaid, but that's okay. Keeps Alan down. And our goal is obviously to rush Alan out. That way I've only got the wizard left to deal with. And I do have much more powerful heroes left, so I should be able to get out of this battle. I mean, do you mean in terms of Dojin Aero RPGs, do you mean stuff like Au Senki? Because I really liked that one that I played. I think that was Dojin. I think. Let's just... It's not? I always thought it was for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, cool. He's retreating. What a coward. What a coward. Bye-bye. Alan retreated and left the poor wizard all by herself. What an absolute tool. I haven't played any of those. I can't think of any anyway. I'm certainly intrigued. I'll certainly give them a go. I can't believe Alan just retreated and left the wizard all by herself. What an absolute nasty guy. Ha! Rose got a level up. Excellent. Oh, okay. RPG Maker games, I certainly enjoy them. I haven't played any Arrow ones, though. Is Monica going to retreat as well? Yep. Wise move, Monica. Very wise. Yeah, well, I would be surprised if any of them were up to the standards of the Marquis de Sade in terms of other themes that he addresses. But hey, I'd give them a go anyway. Monica's troop retreats, and that gives me the victory. Just. I actually got through that with the skin of my teeth, which was a pretty intense battle, as you can see. That took us about half an hour or so. So, yeah, pretty intense. But as a result, the surviving units all get experience points, which is great. All the imps somehow survived. Oh, Diana got a level. I like Diana. The plant thing was definitely the hero of that battle, taking down all those units, getting experience points, and yeah, Hugh's got a level. The plant thing was definitely the hero. What you could call it emergent storytelling, I guess. You know, you can write whatever you want about these characters. If you want Yuri, then it's all there. The material is there to work with. After all of that, I have captured one more keep. So, as you can see, this is why this game takes quite a while to play through. But the intensity of that tactics was really interesting, really enjoyable. The depth, the number of different tactical options I had, and the fact that it was even, you know, I nearly didn't get away with it, even though I had the numbers advantage going in. I made some stupid mistakes, of course, and that's part of the reason I lost. But well, I didn't lose, but that was part of the reason I nearly lost. But you can see that this is an engaging tactical game, and I really enjoyed that. So I did lose some units, of course, in making that capture, but I got it. And unfortunately, the enemy did decide to attack me, and I didn't have anybody there to defend, so I lost that. I lost that territory because I'd sent them all away on quests. And because of quests, as you'll see, like all of these units got experience levels, which you do need to do, otherwise you get stuck behind. Now I'm going to have to focus my energies on recapturing that territory I just lost, though. So that was probably a strategic error on my part. And trading one fief to get another is, well, it's never much of a victory, is it? Sugar got a level. Another level. Lillian, I guess that's the succubus. She got a level. The little imps. Very useful little imps to have in your party, so I always have at least a couple. As you can see, lots of great art. Really great art. The whole The whole game is just gorgeous, except for that. I don't know what that is, but that's the least attractive of the units that you can summon.
As you can see, lots of great art, really great art. The whole game is just gorgeous, except for that. I don't know what that is.
It's an older game, I guess, so I probably haven't. I should play more of them and catch up on some of these older ones that you keep recommending to me. I will one day eventually. I swear to you. Okay. So no story section this time. Usually the stories happen after the attack phase, if they're going to happen at all. The good news is, for me, the good news is that all of those units that I had, they've just been moved over there, and I could also quite easily refocus my energies. Unfortunately, this place here is now under a bit of stress because the value of the units is way down, and I'm surrounded by some pretty powerful enemies there. So if I look at the troops, all the ones that I lost in the last battle are gone. But what I can do is class up. So because I hit level 10 in the last battle, I can turn him into a man-eater, which makes him a lot more powerful. A lot more powerful, actually. Look at that. Look at those stats increase. They're really good. So I'll do that, of course. And he is now a man-eater. It's a Nelly Furtado song, isn't it? Man-eater. That's a great song. As far as pop R&B goes, that's a great song. I can also level up Thief Hughes. And he can become a ranger. So when you start out as a thief, your next career progression is to ranger, which improves his defense, which is important, obviously. Improves his agility. They get new abilities. Every unit in this game has all of this stuff, so there's a lot of management. So while the game is simple in terms of its systems, there's a lot of complex data to work through as you play, which is my kind of game. I'm not a big fan of complex systems in my strategy games, but I like there to be a lot of actual strategy in there. I need to refill this, though. So what I'm going to do here is summon, and I have access to these units to replace the ones that I lost. Giant Snake, yes. Let's summon a giant snake. That's the mana that I've collected. That's basically your currency, which you use to summon more units. You were playing a video game the other day. What video game was that? Was it a good one? Bronze golems are very handy melee fighters. As you saw in the last battle, they just hang around for a long time. Take a lot of killing to get rid of, so that makes them quite useful. And then the little goblins, they're not great, but they do a bit of damage, so they're a bit of a glass cannon, which if I get attack will be quite quite valuable. I can try and beeline straight to a commander and knock them out. Hi John, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining in. This is on the Nintendo Switch. I believe that this is actually a Switch exclusive at this stage. So if you did want to play this, you'd have to have a Switch or access to one. That's not to suggest that it won't go to other platforms down the track, of course. But for now, it is a Switch exclusive. It fits the Switch anyway, because this is the kind of game that will be good to carry with you, play while you're on the train or whatever. It works in short bursts. You can just put your Switch in rest mode when you're done with your commute, and then you can play it on the TV, which I'm doing right now, and it looks good. The art really shines on the big screen. So now I've got to move some units out of reserve. I can still summon more. I better do that. just beef up my defense as much as possible. Unfortunately, they're all only level 1, so this game does have real consequence for losing important characters. If you've leveled a character up to level 30 or whatever, and then they go and get themselves deaded, that's a huge loss to your overall armies. And Soul Calibur 6, I actually really like Soul Calibur 6. That's a great game. Big fan of Talon. Talon's my favourite character in Soul Calibur. No, it all reads very easily in handheld mode. So this game, because it was developed exclusively for the Switch, and the developer's actually a very talented one. It's Matrix Software that developed it. Matrix being the developer behind Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, the recent one, Omega Labyrinth. They did the 3D remakes of Final Fantasy 3 and 4. Matrix has been around for a long time, very experienced developer, and they know how to work with the Switch, and they've tailored it really well. So you'll be able to play on handheld or TV just as comfortably either way. Okay, rearrange things a little bit. There we go. So I've made the best of what I can with what I can afford. And if we have a look, I should have boosted... see? Now that's a defensible number. Now while I'm at it, I need to look about how I can go about recapturing that territory I've just lost. So let's have a look at what I've got here. 3124. Can I summon something of 30 or less? Yes, I can. Let's summon that elemental. The only ugly picture in the whole damn game. I don't know what that is. A jellyfish? I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. But I'll take it at the moment. I'll boost my troops up a bit. Alright. Now I've got a slight advantage there, but as you can see, as you saw in the last battle, a slight advantage doesn't necessarily mean much. So what I'm going to have to do is find a really powerful hero that I can spare and move them over there. What I could do actually, if I move the weakest one here, let's move Sugar. If I move Sugar up to here, and then I find a really powerful unit here that I can move. Darian's looking good. Oh, Darian's looking very good. Although that would leave me quite vulnerable if the enemy attacked. I'm going to move Kate, the rogue. Another lovely artwork there, Kate. Let's move Kate, the rogue. Just to bolster my attack efforts. So if I then end phase, we move to attack phase. And as you can see, I've now given myself the best chance possible to attack that castle. It's not a huge advantage over them, but it is an advantage. This place should survive that if they decide to attack. Because if you look at this, to explain this, they've got 5 generals in there. So the most that they can have attack is 3. The total of their 5 generals gives them 11,000 points. So if they were to attack, they'd have maybe 7 or 8,000 against my 12. So I've got advantages there. None of those are a threat. Over here is the biggest problem, I'm guessing. But not so bad. They've moved some units around, and I should be okay there too. So, anyway, that's a look at Brigandine. I hope that was interesting. That basically shows you the full flow of the game and how it works. But as you can see, in the last hour that I've been playing, I've managed to capture one base, lose one, and when you've got to capture about 20 or so to win the game, you're looking at quite a long campaign. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, there are 6 entirely different factions. Each one has lengthy cutscenes. We didn't get to see a cutscene in this video clip today, but cutscenes can go for 20 or 30 minutes of solid storytelling as well. So you do want to play through all 6 stories because they are different and they give you a whole bunch of different characters to look at, and they're interesting characters and interesting stories. On top of that, you're looking at about 20 to 30 hours for each campaign basically, and across 6 campaigns this is easily an 100-hour plus video game to see everything. And on top of that, afterwards there is additional modes, higher difficulties, and all that stuff you can play with as well. So yes, this is a highlight of 2020 for me so far to date. I really enjoy this game. I will be recommending it and playing it for quite a long time to come, and I think that come the awards at the end of the year, when we talk about our favourite games of the year, this one will be up there for me. So thanks very much for tuning in, everyone. I'll give you all a break now. That's that's enough for this right now. I might play some more of it later on in the weekend on one of my weekend streams. But I do want to thank everybody for joining in. I hope that was interesting. Have a great weekend playing games, and we will see you at the next stream.